Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty, also Livian Coastal Elite is our new brand. Coming up, we got Brandon Faust in the house. We're going to talk with him about how, tips for homeowners in subtropical climates, how to combat this mold that is so prevalent in these warmer climates. Before we do, a couple of hot listings here in Tampa Bay. We got a property here at 15900 Oakcrest Circle in Brooksville. This is a beautiful home. I love these homes that are northern audience for our northern listeners here in Brooksville. You've got a large lot, large rooms, spacious garage here as well. 15900 Oakcrest Circle in Brooksville. 4 bedrooms, 2 bath, 3-car garage, generous size rooms on Oakcrest Circle in Brooksville. Great opportunity. The owner has also taken an extra step and wired in a generator directly into the electrical box. It's a propane generator. Really cool setup that he has on Oakcrest Circle in Brooksville. Now, we also have another property here that we wanted to talk about on Lake Palermo Road in Waimama. Lake Palermo Road, gorgeous property, and this one is in Hillsborough County, estate-style home, 34 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 3.5 bath, Mediterranean mansion, beautiful home here, 3413 Lake Palermo Road, Waimama, Florida, and you can see all of our real estate listings, PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Somewhere sunny and 75. All right, Brandon Faust, Mold Solutions, welcome back, sir.
Thank you very much. I definitely have some topics to go over that I think your listeners are going to find to be interesting.
I love it. Yeah, let's jump right into it then.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So, of course, we have a lot of people that are moving here, from out of state. And when you have that, there's different climates, dry climates. And here in Tampa Bay, we have a subtropical climate. So it's right on the border of tropical. That means humidity. It means a lot of moisture. And when you're dealing with mold, what are you dealing with? What's the key factor that you want to basically handle? Moisture.
Water. Yep.
Right? If you have some sort of water coming in the home, it's going to lead to mold. Where there's water, there's life. And unfortunately, this type of life form is not something that you want to be cohabiting and sharing your home with.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? This is not good news.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing is cleaning, which I think is, of course, you want to keep the dust and all that type of stuff, just proper, making sure your home is clean, because mold loves organic material. So if you have that sort of, a dirty
kind of
home.
A building block almost.
Yeah, right there. You kind of eliminate that. Keep it clean as possible.
Yep.
Right? Next thing, one of the things that you see people opening their windows. You wouldn't think that that's something that you'd have to tell people. But here in Florida, the time you can do it is during the wintertime. When it's cooler and drier, you can have your windows open. But it's almost self-defeating. You're like, well, fresh air. Well, of course, you are bringing in fresh air, but what you're also bringing in is mold spores, and you're also bringing in humidity. So just it's a point of physics, right? Hot is going to move to cool naturally, and wet is going to move to dry. So if you have hot, humid air, it's going to move into your home, and it's going to bring moisture, and it's also going to bring mold spores. And those mold spores are so microscopic that they're going to get past your filter in a lot of cases, and then it's going to infiltrate your AC system, and then you can wind up with growth. And that touches upon the next, key area that you really want to focus on to prevent mold is your AC unit as a whole. One question we get asked a lot is, what about, should we leave it on or should we set it to auto? So Duke Energy will tell you leave it on because it's going to save you costs. But they're not thinking with the added cost of doing a remediation project on your AC unit or your home, because if it stays on, what are you also creating? Your condensation coils are constantly wet. So if that wet moisture, that wet air is being blown through your ducts, you're going to wind up with mold. Same thing with getting it on your blower wheel. You need to give it a chance to dry out.
Okay.
Your AC system has to get a chance to dry out.
So the auto feature.
Yes, put it on auto. So it's going to kick on and then it's going to kick off, not just constantly go where you have basically moisture.
Right. Well, I think on that line, too, that's a good point. Brandon Faust, Mold Solutions here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. And on that note, too, a lot of folks that, again, are from the Northeast or Midwest are not really accustomed to our subtropical climate. Whenever they leave the home for the summer or whatever time they leave, they're leaving these air conditionings in an off position, and that's a dead wrong thing to do.
That is a really bad idea. So when you have that type of thing happening where, you have guys that are coming from up north, they're trying to save money. They're not going to be in the home.
Yep.
But the mold will start growing at 60% humidity.
Yeah.
Which is such an important datum to know, because if it's 70%, for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you're going to come home to a garden.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be a friendly garden. It's going to be something that's going to be toxic and
Yeah.
poisonous.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
and that brings us to what are the ideal settings for an AC unit?
Okay.
In the wintertime, you want to be between 69 degrees and 73 degrees. You want it kicking on at least once a day, because an AC has two functions. One is to climatize, the other is to pull water out of the air. So when you have those windows, it most likely will kick on. Of course, you can have a heater going. You want that ventilation going. You want that airflow going. Those are also crucial things. But in the summertime, you don't want to set it at 69 degrees or even 70, because you're going to have condensation. When you start hitting at those levels, you hit basically dew point. The metal of your vents is going to start dripping, and that's a sure sign that you're too cold. Is that when your vents are starting to drip with condensation, not only are your vents dripping, your air handler is dripping, and there's water and moisture probably throughout your ducts,
Right.
which is going to lead to growth. So you want to be at between 74 and 78 degrees on your settings during the summertime.
Okay.
Okay, somewhere in that zone.
Good tip.
Yeah. The other thing is making sure you have the correct size of unit. That your ducts are the correct size. If they're too small, you're not going to get the proper airflow. And if your AC is too large, some people think, oh, just put the biggest one in here that we can get. Well, if you do that and it cools it too quickly, you get what's called flash cooling. And then you can wind up with too much moisture in your air, which is going to lead to, honestly, a mold bloom all throughout the house. You got to dry that house out. You got to pull that water out of the air. And your biggest thing that's going to do that is your AC system.
Is it a good idea also to use these little, you'll see these people putting, mothballs or even these dried things in the closets or different areas?
I mean, it's almost pointless. You're fighting an uphill battle at that point in time when you have these damp rid.
But not a maintenance thing. It's not like a thing to do.
It's an okay thing to do,
Yeah.
But as soon as I see a damp rid, like one of these canisters in the home,
Yep.
I'm like, they have a problem that they're trying to solve.
Right.
That is that item is not going to solve that problem.
Got to get to the root.
You got to get to the root, and it's probably way worse.
Right.
So that's what I would say on that. Is it's more an indicator. You got to actually find out why they're doing that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then, there's other ones that I can definitely go into. Change your air filter. That's a huge one. So I'll stay on sort of like the AC system for this segment of the show.
Okay.
But you want to change your air filter at least every 2 months. You don't want it to have too much buildup, because if that happens, you can wind up with what's called bionesting. And when you have bionesting, the spores actually get trapped in the dust, in the hair, and then you wind up with a musty home.
Ooh, yeah.
And you don't want that.
No.
So the other thing is the maintenance on your AC unit. A lot of AC contractors, they're not going to say mold. They're not going to tell you have mold. They're illegally not allowed to do it.
Right.
So they may say build up, or they may not even know what to say, or they'll say, hey, use this purifier or this UV light, which in a lot of cases is a smart idea, but it's not going to solve a moldy AC unit if it's already contaminated or if it's already overgrown, right? So you have to have proper maintenance. Clean the blower wheel, clean the coils, clean the ducts, actually brush the ducts, sanitize the ducts, and then really consider doing whole home sanitization when you do that. Because if it's in your system, it doesn't stay there. It blows throughout the house. So you want to make sure that you don't then cross-contaminate your brand new system or your clean system.
Right.
When you handle it.
And Brandon Faust, you also have a sister company, I believe, that does the duct cleaning.
That's right, Real Duct Cleaning.
Real
so
Duct
you can
Cleaning.
find us online, realductcleaning.com. So yeah, we have that company because it's such an important factor in regards to indoor air quality. The AC unit, as I just touched upon, I'm a mold guy, and the majority of my tips are starting to talk about the AC unit. It's so part and parcel to fantastic indoor air quality. And if you
Right.
improve the air quality, you improve the quality of life. Your
Yeah.
breathing habits, your sleeping habits, all are influenced by the air you're breathing.
That's right. Absolutely. How do you want people to connect with you? You got your website and a lot on social media, too. Check
Absolutely.
out the page.
Mold.solutions on Instagram. They can send us a direct message. We'll respond to that. Moldsolutions.com. They can give us a call the office at 727-276-4787. So that's 727-276-4787.
All right, good stuff. And take it seriously, folks. Mold is a silent killer. We've talked in previous shows. By the way, lots of great content with Brandon on our YouTube channel as well. Brandon Rhymes Realty, previous shows there as well if you want more information. Hey, another great show. I want to thank Tom Ryberg, Fred Muth, and, of course, Brandon Faust, and all of our producers as well. Alex, Nicole, Jose, thank you so much. And please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call